Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. Tsar Nicholas II, the last ruler of Imperial Russia, was forced to abdicate the throne in 1917 during the Russian Revolution. In 1918, he and his family were executed, ending over 300 years of Romanov rule. Albert Einstein laughing, 1953. In 1953, Albert Einstein was captured laughing during a luncheon at Princeton University in New Jersey, USA. An ambulance driver from the British Women's Auxiliary Army, 1940. A member of the British Women's Auxiliary Army stood at attention in France on April 13, 1940, while serving as an ambulance driver. California National Guardsmen kissed their wives goodbye, 1950. California National Guardsmen were photographed kissing their wives goodbye on September 2, 1950, as they prepared to leave for Camp Cookie, California. Charlie Chaplin dressed as Tramp, 1934. Charlie Chaplin, in his iconic character, the Tramp, dressed for his silent film The Pilgrim in 1934. The character is known for his bowler hat, mustache, and cane, symbolizing humor and charm. A father fainted upon meeting his triplets, 1946. In 1946, a father fainted upon meeting his triplets for the first time. The photo captured the overwhelming joy and surprise of becoming a parent to 3 newborns simultaneously. A lead able seaman, nicknamed Popeye, 1940. A lead able seaman, affectionately nicknamed Popeye, was photographed aboard the battleship HMS Rodney in 1940, having served 21 years in the Royal Navy. Anita Louise as Titania in A Midsummer Night's Dream, 1934. Anita Louise portrayed Titania in the 1934 film A Midsummer Night's Dream. The portrait, taken by Elmer Fryer, captures her magical portrayal of the Fairy Queen, featuring vibrant costumes and an ethereal atmosphere. Twins Mrs. Eileen Moon and Mrs. Kathleen Robbie became mothers together, 1939. On April 7, 1939, twins Mrs. Eileen Moon and Mrs. Kathleen Roby both gave birth for the second time at Columbia Maternity Hospital in Washington, D.C., less than 2 years apart, celebrating their shared bond. Elvis Presley received a polio vaccine, 1956. In 1956, Elvis Presley received a polio vaccine backstage at the Ed Sullivan Show in New York City, administered by Assistant Commissioner Harold First, as Health Commissioner Leona Baumgartner observed. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., 1962. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., a leading figure in the civil rights movement, was photographed at his church in Atlanta, Georgia, on August 18, 1962. Shirley Slade, female pilot. Shirley Slade was one of over 1,000 women trained in an intensive 7-month course to become the first female pilots in the U.S. Air Force. A mugshot of Charles Davis, 1911. A 1911 mugshot of Charles Davis, who was arrested and sentenced to 3 years in prison for housebreaking. 1970's Arizona magazine cover, featuring 2 Native American women. Laika, the Soviet space dog, 1957. Laika, a Soviet space dog, became the first animal to orbit Earth on November 3, 1957, aboard Sputnik 2. Although she did not survive, Laika's mission was a pivotal moment in space exploration. The crew of Apollo 11, Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong, 1969. The Apollo 11 crew, Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong, posed for a publicity photo before their historic moon landing on July 20, 1969. Young Norma Jean, later Marilyn Monroe, 1946. Young Norma Jean, who would later become Marilyn Monroe, was photographed in 1946 by Richard C. Miller before rising to fame as a Hollywood icon. Portrait photograph of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, taken in 1865 by Alexander Gardner, 2 months before his death. Edgar Allan Poe, September 1849. American writer Edgar Allan Poe, posing for a photo in September 1849. Known for his Gothic tales of mystery and the macabre, such as The Raven and The Telltale Heart, he is considered a pioneer of modern detective fiction.